Hello, folks. This is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite topics. It's the EV stocks, picks and shovels. There are a lot of EV companies, autonomous driving companies, and we covered the autonomous companies in the last session. Today, we will talk about picks and shovels. These are the companies who will assist with autonomous driving for companies like, say, Workhorse, Tesla, and many of these companies will use these technologies. With that, there are four favorite themes in the picks and shovels. First one is the driver assistance technology. As you might be knowing, things like LiDAR technologies is one of the famous technologies that goes into driver assistance. So there are companies like Luminar, Aeva, which is basically started from Apple engineers, Velodyne, Foresight. These are the companies who will help with the driver assistance technology. And the second one is really EV charging. With EV, you got to make sure there's a extensive network of charging available for folks to charge wherever they are. So with that, companies like Blink, the EVBox, ChargePoint, BEEM Global, they're all, have an ambitious goal of making sure there is enough charging stations available. And some of these, as you can see here, SBE, and Tpgy, these are basically the SPACs or special acquisition companies who are going to be acquiring, EVBox and ChargePoint. In the EV space, as you might be knowing, there are a lot of these special purpose acquisition companies who are acquiring, companies which are prominent in this area. Next, we'll talk about battery plays. In the EV world, as you know, the battery is going to be, very essential. We got to have a good battery. So with that, companies like Quantum Space Scape, they are looking at batteries which are really very light with solid state type technologies and fast charging. And we got Livent, Enersys, Romeo, Plug Power, and Flux. These are the companies who are really, pioneering in the, in the battery technology area. Last but not least is really all these lithium, material itself. The companies like LAC, which is Lithium Americas, Piedmont, and even the last one here, SQM. SQM is, basically it's a green play. They are also into lithium. It's not their main source of income, but still they play into the lithium area. With that, let's dive into these groups a little bit and see what are the major players and where we can invest going forward. So with that, you know just a quick summary here. We have first row here. It's all about EV technologies. As you can see here, Luminar, it's a long range high resolution LiDAR perception technology. It's very important to have this LiDAR type technology which can give you very very clear picture of how to navigate the difficult pathways and roads. And CEO is Austin Russell. He's got 92% approval rate. It's one of the very good companies, and they have 11.02 billion market cap, which is leader in this area. Next is Velodyne. This company was there for a while, and they used to do a little bit smaller things like robots and drones and whatnot. And now they have a very big goal of even assisting with things like trucks and other areas also. And next is Inter Private Technologies or IPV. This is a SPAC, and this SPAC is going to acquire a company founded by former Apple engineers, Saro and Mina. And this is company is called Aeva, and it's been building this. They call it 4D lidar on chip. So this is a very good company with a lot of engineering power, and 60% of the employees approve the CEO. Next is again one more SPAC is Switchback Energy or SPE, and they're acquiring. Next group is really about charging, as you can see here, and this Switchback Energy SPAC it's acquiring ChargePoint, and ChargePoint is one of the major companies that has got multiple charging stations, and with the ChargePoint being acquired by Switchback, the ChargePoint CEO Pascal Romano, he's going to take over this company after the acquisition, and he's got 92% approval rate, which is very good. And this company is very famous for their fast charging. I would put my money on this. Next is QuantumScape. This company is really a little bit newer company, and they're into solid state lithium metal batteries. As you all know, in the older generation computers, they had very archaic hard drive, which used to take long time and very slow. Solid state really revolutionized storage for computers, and now QuantumScape want to do use solid state lithium metal and really do fast charging, and also make sure it's weighing very less, which is key for any of these cars. And good thing is 100% of the employees approve the CEO Jagdeep Singh, which is a good thing here. It's got a sizable market cap, as you can see here. Market is really liking what this company is doing. Next is Tpgy Pace Beneficial, and it's got again a SPAC here, 893 million, and they are acquiring this EVBox group, which is really they got massive EV charging stations around the world, especially in Europe and around that area. And 87% of the employees approve the CEO here, Christoph, which is a good thing. Next is Livent Corporation. Next group is really about the battery, itself, the storage, and that area here. We got LTHM is the Livent Corporation. They manufacture these, lithium high performance lithium compounds. And next is Enersys, and they also provide various storage for energy solutions. And 38% approved CEO David Schaefer. A lot last, but not least, it's a heavy market cap, as you can see. The company is Plug Power, and they're into hydrogen fuel cell technology. And these guys got a solid goal of really taking this hydrogen fuel cell technology forward. And 58% of employees approve the CEO Andy Marsh. With that, let's dive into some of the numbers of these companies and see where we can really put our money to work going forward. With that, these are the same companies that we looked at, and we got same grouping here. First set of companies are really around the technologies when it comes to autonomous driving. Next set of companies here, all the way from Blink to BEEM, they are into the charging and charging network. And next set is really around the technology, the battery technology itself. And last but not least, really around the actual lithium itself, the producers of this lithium. So with that, let's go into the technology itself, the autonomous driving technology. Hands down, the leader is really the Luminar Technologies, LAZR, under the leadership of Singh, who's got 100% approval rate. And their market cap is 11 billion, as you can see here. They did around 220% last year from a performance perspective. They got a good revenue and revenue growth. And operating cash, as you can think through, it's a newer company. They are burning a lot of cash as they're innovating, and they are actually losing money, as you can see here. And they got enough cash on hand, 167 million, and a little bit debt also. With that, this is one of my favorite in this technology area when it comes to the driver assistance technology itself. And next is IPV. This is inter-private acquisition, and this is the this company is really, as you can see here, price is very low here, and newer company, as you can see, and they got around 200 million cash. And as we talked about in the previous slide, they are really buying, they're acquiring this Apple startup called, startup started by Apple engineers, which is Aeva. So I got high hopes on this also. As you can see, very low dollar value stock. I think it's good to buy and keep it. And after this acquisition, this symbol itself will change to Aeva as we go forward. Next is Valodyn. Valodyn is really, been there for a long time, and from from robots and drones. Now they're going to trucks and whatnot, and it's $21. It's a steady eddy. It's doing very well, as you can see here. Very good revenue growth, and they're still losing some money here, but a good gross margin here, 77.90 million. Percent gross margin. Next is Foresight Technologies. It's a Israeli-based company, and they're also developing this autonomous driving technologies. And performance is very solid, as you can see here. Stock price is very, very low. You could just buy some and put it away. And normally, Israeli companies are very tech savvy, so I'm sure this will make it. And they're not making money, which is not surprising here. And their free cash flow is also negative, but they got a good amount of cash on hand. They can survive easily, and some debt. Next is we'll go into the charging itself, into the the charging network. The BLNK charging, it's a USA based company. $49, which is not too bad. Around $2 billion market cap. But if you look at the performance here, they got an astounding 2400 percentage performance last year. Really around end of last year or mid last year, they really ramped up their performance so well from a stock appreciation perspective. And revenues 4.48 million. They got revenue growth of 18%, and they're still burning money, as you can see here. Operating cash and free cash flow is negative, and they got a gross margin positive here, 22% gross margin. This company is good. Only thing I would caution is they moved up so fast in the last couple of months. I would wait a little bit for it to cool down, and I would invest more. Next is Tpgy. This is again a small company, as you can see here. And if I go back here, Tpgy, this is again, they're buying EVBox, as you can see. And EVBox they got a massive amount of network. This is also a good company with a good amount of cash after the acquisition and the merger is done. This is also a good company. I would really look at this one too, especially given the low dollar amount, which is $25. Switchback Energy is again a pioneer in this area, and they are buying ChargePoint, like we talked about. This is a ChargePoint has got a very good name. As you saw previously, they got a CEO with a very high rating. So this is a good company, solid 1.55 billion market cap, and they did very well, 293.18 percentage, and they got good amount of cash. After the acquisition is done, the cash position will improve further. So that's why you don't see too much cash right now, but it will improve as the acquisition completes. Next is BEEM Global, and $56 cash. And as you can see here, they're also burning through money here, not much on the balance sheet itself. They got around $202 million. They can easily survive. And next is QuantumScape. This is one of my favorite here. QuantumScape, they got $9 billion here, $43 stock price, They got good amount of cash on hand, and debt is really 12 million dollars. So it's one of the good companies with the Mr. Singh on the helm with the 100% approval rating. I'm very comfortable with this stock here. Next, let's look at Livent. Livent is a $18 stock, $2.87 billion, and these guys also have positive gross margin, which is a good thing here. And they got good amount of stock and some amount of debt, which is a little high in my mind. Next is Enersys, and it's again $3.62 billion company, $82 stock. A little pricey from a stock perspective, but they did very well from a performance perspective. And revenue is 2.96 million, which is very very sizable revenue from all these companies. And operating cash flow is also pretty healthy, and free cash flow is healthy, and they also have a gross margin to show here. So overall, it's a good company. Next is Romeo Power. Romeo is it's again $2.3 billion company, small amount from a price perspective, and performance is 79% here. And they got revenue 7.46 million, and operating cash flow is around 23 million. I think it's a okay company. I would not put too much emphasis on this company. There are other good players here. Plug Power, like we talked about, it's a hydrogen fuel type company, and a massive market cap of 30.63 billion, and it went so much here, 1483%. And this is also all the long haul trucks, and even it plugs a lot of these high tech companies also. It's a good company, and they did a lot of partnerships of late. Next is Flux. I would $14 stock, which is low dollar perspective. They got a good amount of revenue and revenue growth, and also they are burning through the cash, as you can see here, and they got a positive gross margin. That's why it's always good to see positive gross margin in these companies. Next three are really around the lithium itself, the which is required material to build these batteries. I would probably recommend first one, LAC here. It's a Canada-based company, and $2.35 billion. So with that, let's dive into little more on these stocks. Let's look at monthly performance. Same story here. First set is really around the technology itself, the autonomous driving technology. We got LAZR, IPV, Velodyne, and FRCX. And as you can see here, these companies have done pretty well. As LAZR being my favorite here, and next one is really around this VLDR. I think they did really well. And if you see your FRSX, I mean, it's went up so much of late. You would think twice to put money at this point, but I'd be comfortable in these first three. Next, around the charging station itself, we got BLNK, Tpgy, SBE, and BEEM. So I feel these are compelling stocks here, with SB acquiring ChargePoint. It's a good play here, and Tpgy acquiring the EVBox. That's also a good play, but it went up so much. I would probably look for companies like probably BLNK or SBE or BEEM at this point. Once Tpgy cools off, I would look at this one. Next, let's look at some of these battery technology itself. In the battery technology, my favorite play is really QuantumScape, and they're into the solid state battery technology. I think they will do very well, and stock has been pulling back a little bit very hard in January. I would initiate some position in QuantumScape at this point. And next is LTHM ENS RMO plug. Plug, it went so much so fast. I would wait a little bit, but things like LTHM and ENS, they could be good ones. And Romeo, I would put some money here also, because as you can see, anytime it went, it did not go down too much, but it's been consistently going up. Flux is also good. This also, as you can see, solid. Whenever it went down, it came back up again pretty quickly. Last but not least is around lithium itself, the material itself. My favorite here is really LAC. SQM is also doing very well off late, but SQM has got a lot of other things in their in their portfolio. Lithium is I would say one portion of their portfolio is really lithium. So with that, I would recommend LAC or even PLL for the matter. But if you want to diversify with other materials, you could also go with SQM. They're into green, overall. So with that, we'll look into two companies in a little more details. Plug Power with the $30 billion market cap. They're into hydrogen fuel cell technology. They got 58% approval rate. Customers are really Amazon, NASA, CSX, and any of the long hauling truck type business. They are looking into Plug Power. As you can see here, from a revenue perspective, they've been surprising consistently. But from a EPS perspective, they missed EPS couple times. I think probably it'll continue going forward. Also, they might keep missing on the EPS once in a while. But market has been very good to them. As you can see here, they have grown market cap consistently from 958 million, 1 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion. 31 billion. So look at from 930 September 2020 till now, they're almost like say 6 times their market cap increased by 6 times, which is a huge feat for this company. Really, their partnerships and they also got a lot of new customers, and they also got some cash infusion. Next is Luminar, which is LAZR. They don't have too much history behind them. 92% approve the CEO here. And as you can see here, they surprised on the revenue side of the house, and EPS. They kind of they did surprise on the negative side, or a miss, as we can say. I think this is also a solid company. I would recommend this company also. So with that, in summary, I would say if you have to pick some companies, I would go with these highlighted companies to begin with. These are my favorites. I would initiate some position, but overall, as you can see here, anytime these companies fell off a little bit from a market share perspective, they always bounced back. So these are, in my mind, good leaders. You can always invest a little bit, watch how it goes, and go from there. With that, thank you very much. Happy trading.